Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Teddy Balls. My first video on the channel, so bear with me here for this one. But we're going to be talking about the Rams versus Vikings in their first round playoff matchup in the wild card. The Rams are 10-7 going against the Vikings who are 14-3. It's a rematch of that Week 8 matchup. I think that one was at Minnesota. I could be wrong about that, but the Rams won that game 30-20. So a little bit of a controversial ending with that one, with the no-called face mask, and for a chance for them to get down the field and potentially tie the game up. I'm not going to go as far as to say they were going to do that. I'm a Rams fan, but I can get it from the video. But however, we're going to be talking about this playoff matchup. And overall, just talk about how this Rams team has been getting slept on and why you shouldn't be sleeping on them going into this week. All right, first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, I'm not going to be able to zoom in too much here. I don't know how I would zoom in with the face cam, so I'm sorry about that. But I was just going to talk about kind of the history of Sean McVey in the playoffs and why there's kind of a little bit of a pattern that might be unfolding here before us. So if we start off here, 2017, first year with Sean McVey as the head coach. They went 11-5, made the playoffs, big whoop. However, I'm starting off in 2018. This is what I really want to start with. 2018, the Rams make it to the Super Bowl, lose the Super Bowl, unfortunately, but the following year, they missed the playoffs entirely. They were dealing with some stuff, but overall, just kind of a Super Bowl slump. Finished 9-7, third in the NFC West, very strong NFC West that year. But after that, they bounced back in 2020, made the playoffs, got eliminated by the Packers in the divisional round, and then 2021. So 3 years after 2018 and the Super Bowl loss, they make the Super Bowl and win it. Okay. So after that, what happens? Well, same thing in 2019. They miss the playoffs following the Super Bowl. And then the year after that, 2023, 10-7. So last year, we know how good of a season they had last year, where they kind of, started off with a bad record, bounced their way back, kind of very similar to this year. But now, 2024, kind of the same situation, made the playoffs this year, and it's the third year since the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not saying because of that it's going to happen. However, I'm not saying it's not. So that's just something I wanted to start off by saying. A little bit of a pattern that I kind of saw. So hopefully with these Rams fans, keep your fingers crossed, and we might just win the Super Bowl this year. But first, we got to get past this Vikings team. Let's get into that. I just want to give a quick reminder that after the bye week, the Rams finished 9-3 with the final loss of that coming to resting starters in Week 18 against the Seahawks. And even in that game, they almost won with a score of 25-30 with Jimmy Garoppolo and a bunch of third stringers in the game. But going back to that start of the season, 1-4, what was the reason why they started so slow? Why were so many people writing off the Rams? Well, it comes down to injuries. When you look at injuries, it's an insanely long list. You got Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua early on in the season. All of the offensive line, Rob Havenstein, Steve Avila, Jonah Jackson, everyone was out. It was horrible to be a Rams fan to start the season. You're like, oh my goodness, this is just a repeat of 2019, a repeat of 2022. It's just injury riddled and not fun. But this team persevered just like they did last year. And that's because of the coaching of Sean McVay and just getting healthy throughout the weeks. And thankfully, after we played in Week 7, we played the Raiders, and obviously we beat the Raiders. But that Week 8 game against the Vikings really was what felt like the turning point for this current Rams roster. You beat a really good team that was hot at the time, and now in retrospect, that we're the only other team besides the Detroit Lions to beat that Minnesota Vikings team. So going into this week, when all we hear is, oh, the Rams don't stand a chance. I remember listening to the radio earlier this week and having to turn it off because someone was getting mad about the point spread not being 10+ for the Vikings. I'll tell you why it's not 10+ for the Vikings, because the Rams beat them by 10 back in Week 8. I understand it was a while ago, but that just doesn't just go away. That was still this season. Whether they were injured or not, we were definitely not healthy at any point in that Week 8 game. So it took a while for everyone to get healthy. I think it was like Week 14 before the entire offensive line had played with each other, the starting offensive line. So it took a lot of time, but this Rams team right now is as healthy as they've been all season, and I think that's going to play a big factor going into this game against the Vikings. Okay, so we talked about the hot streak they've been on since the bye week, and then the history of Sean McVay in the playoffs and how successful he's been. But now let's talk about what is making this team win games right now. Why are they playing at such a high level? What are they doing? Well, I think offensively, we'll start with that. The first thing you got to say, we mentioned it a little bit, just the health. You look at offensive lines, especially going into this year, they're ranked pretty highly among offensive lines in the NFL. They weren't like Lions level or Eagles level, but very respectable. Okay, they got Jonah Jackson. Bo Limmer has played very well. Steve Avila was a very hyped up guy after his season last year. Havenstein's obviously always good, and Kevin Dotson was another guy that we got this year to just really help us with the offensive line. And so that was something every Rams fan was excited about. And it took until I think week 14 for every starter to play together for the first time. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. Don't quote me on it, but it definitely took a long time for players to really start to get back in the mix, and that helped out with everything. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp both got healthy. That's a big, help out as well. Two of the best receivers in the league. I don't care what the stats might say for Cooper Kupp. He's still one of the smartest and just overall best mechanical receivers in the NFL. Matthew Stafford still playing at a high level at the age of 37, and Kyren Williams just the workhorse that he is. The offense is going to be good if you just give it time. So I think everyone had a little bit of patience with that. There was some, even once we got healthy, there were some times where they've been a little squeamish with that 3-game win streak. We were holding guys at 10. Even the offense wasn't playing so good. So definitely something I want to see up in the playoffs, but we've also seen them in the Bills game. They scored 44 points in a shootout like that against one of the best teams in the NFL. So offensively, I don't think there's too much to worry about. And I think, like I said before, the key with them was just giving the offense time to get healthy and back into the swing of things. But now over to defense. Defense for the Rams is, I'm pretty sure they're the youngest defense in the NFL. They're the lowest paid defense in the NFL in terms of all contracts. And so this team on paper, defensively, shouldn't be good. And if we go ahead and look at these overall rankings here, bring you guys with me. Go by the rankings, they're 17th. So you might be thinking, why are we talking about how good this Rams team is? They're 17th. Yes, they are 17th. But I don't know how to edit it past 3 weeks. But for the 3 weeks, third in the NFL with 16 points per game. That includes a 30-point game from the Seahawks, where we benched all of our starters in Week 18. Beyond that, you had the game where you're holding everyone to under 10 points, 3 games in a row. The Bills game was what it was, but you're playing the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they're going to score points. They're one of those teams that's just going to score points. But even in that game, they had some moments that were still strong of a young team, learning how to play in games like that all throughout the season. And 22.7 points does put us at a point differential offensively to defensively. But like I said, I wouldn't worry about it. Fresh new season. Everyone's healthy now. It's totally different. And I think this young team defensively is ready. Like, they're ready for this Minnesota Vikings game. And, if you look at the stats, I'm not just talking about these, but just everything. They've played phenomenal together, and throughout the course of the season, they've only gotten better. So that's just kind of offensively and defensively what this team has done to improve throughout the course. A lot of it was guys elevating to another level. We got Fisk, Verse, Turner, Young, all on, rushing the passer. They've played phenomenal. We know that. But then you got guys like Roseboom and Spates who have elevated for that middle linebacker role with Ernest Jones being gone. They've played really good. I know a lot of guys want to get a linebacker next year, and that could be something to go for, but you got to give them credit. They've stepped up in a big way. And in the secondary, Akella Witherspoon has played great. Darius Williams has stepped up as well ever since he came back from injury. Akella Witherspoon had that interception the other day against the Cardinals that really sealed the game. And so there are guys that are elevating to a new level. Like I said, lowest payroll among defenses in the NFL, but these guys are working for it. They want to get their money, and they're playing like a group that is going to get it. So if you guys stay with the team, a couple of them are going to get some big paydays not too long in the future. Alright guys, that'll be just about it for me today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. It's my first video on the channel. A little bit of yapping in there. We'll clean it up. I'll end up, for the next couple of videos, I'll be editing a little bit more heavy. But I just need to get on here and start talking a little bit. Feel free. Just talk about something I was really passionate about and get it out before the game came out. Because this Vikings game is really annoying me. A bunch of people are just sleeping on the Rams. And I'm not liking that too much. So hopefully a good outcome comes from it, and I don't look stupid in the course of a week, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in, and stay tuned for some more either Rams content or NFL content, even other sports as well, here on the Teddy Ball channel.